The toy car that learned to float. Once upon a time, in a cozy little town, nestled between rolling green hills and sparkling blue streams, there was a toy shop that was famous for its magical creations. The shop was run by a kind-hearted inventor named Mr. Whimsy, whose grey moustache curled at the ends and whose eyes twinkled like the stars. Children from all around would visit Mr. Whimsy's shop, their faces pressed against the glass, marvelling at the shelves lined with plush animals, spinning tops and shimmering marbles. But among all the toys, there was one that was very special indeed, a tiny red toy car named Zip. Zip was small and shiny, with a bright yellow lightning bolt painted on each side, and 4 wheels that spun faster than any other toy car in the shop. Every night, when the shop was dark and still, Zip would zoom across the shelves, racing past teddy bears and action figures, always dreaming of adventure. Yet despite his speed and daring spirit, Zip had a little secret. He was afraid of water. He'd heard stories from the rubber ducks about what it felt like to float, and he'd even watched the paper boats glide gracefully in the fish tank at the back of the shop. But Zip had never dared to try. He was a car, after all, meant for roads and tracks, not puddles or streams. One sunny morning, as Mr. Whimsy polished Zip's gleaming roof, he said, "You know, Zip, there's a whole world out there beyond the toy shop, fields, forests, and even rivers. Wouldn't it be grand to explore them all?" Zip's wheels spun with excitement and a little bit of nervousness. He had always wanted to see more of the world, but the thought of crossing rivers or streams made him shiver. That very afternoon, the shop's bell jingled as a little girl named Mia walked in with her mother. Mia had curly hair, a big smile, and an adventurous heart. She was looking for a birthday present, something special, something that could join her on her many explorations. When her eyes landed on Zip, she grinned. "This one, Mama. He looks like he wants to go on adventures with me." So, Zip was carefully wrapped up and taken to Mia's home, a cozy house at the edge of town, right next to a bubbling creek. Mia and Zip became the best of friends. Each day, they would race along winding garden paths, weave between flower beds, and zoom over makeshift bridges made from sticks and stones. Sometimes, Mia would tell Zip stories about the things she wished to discover: hidden treasures, secret caves, and magical creatures. One day, after a rainstorm, the creek beside Mia's house swelled with water, and the little wooden bridge they always crossed was slippery and unstable. Mia wanted to explore the meadow on the other side, but the bridge was too risky for her to walk on, and the water rushed below, swirling and chattering. Mia knelt beside Zip and said, "If only you could float, Zip, we could cross together and see what's on the other side." Zip's wheels shivered. The idea of floating seemed impossible for a car like him. He remembered the stories the rubber ducks had told, how water could lift you up and carry you to new places. But Zip had always stayed safely on dry land. That night, as Zip rested on the windowsill, he gazed out at the moonlit stream. He wondered what it would feel like to float, to let the gentle water carry him. Maybe, just maybe, he could learn. After all, he was a toy car, built for adventure. The next morning, Mia had an idea. She rummaged through her craft supplies, gathering bits of foam, colourful straws, and a spool of string. "We'll make you a life jacket, Zip," she declared. With careful hands, she wrapped the foam around Zip's middle and used the straws to make tiny pontoons on either side. She tied the string so she could pull Zip back if he floated too far. With a deep breath, Mia set Zip down at the edge of the creek. The water sparkled in the sun, and the air was filled with the scent of wildflowers. Mia whispered, "Are you ready, Zip?" Zip's wheels spun with anticipation and a hint of fear. Slowly, Mia nudged Zip onto the water. At first, Zip wobbled, his wheels touching the surface. But then, to his amazement, the foam and straws held him up. He floated. The creek carried him gently, rocking him back and forth. Zip felt a thrill unlike any he'd ever known. The water was cool and playful, and for the first time, Zip understood what it meant to float. Mia cheered from the bank, her laughter ringing out. She tugged on the string, guiding Zip across the creek. On the other side, they explored the meadow, discovering a patch of wild strawberries and a family of rabbits hopping through the tall grass. Zip felt proud and brave. He had faced his fear, and now the world seemed bigger and more wonderful than ever. From that day on, Zip and Mia had even more adventures. Sometimes they floated down the creek together, waving to ducks and dragonflies. Other days, they raced along dirt roads, zooming past trees and flowers. Zip learned that with a little courage and a good friend by your side, you could go anywhere, even across the water. As the days grew warmer, Zip became famous among the toys in Mia's room. The stuffed animals listened wide-eyed as he recounted his adventures on the water. The paper boats welcomed him as one of their own, and the rubber ducks quacked in delight, proud to have inspired a land toy to take to the waves. But Zip never forgot that first moment when he touched the water, heart pounding, unsure if he would sink or float. He learned that sometimes the things that scare us the most can lead to the greatest adventures, and he knew that as long as he had Mia by his side, there was no river too wide, no stream too swift, and no dream too big. As the sun set each evening, Zip would rest on Mia's windowsill, looking out at the world beyond. He wondered what other wonders awaited them. Maybe a journey down a river or a trip to the sparkling lake in the next town. Whatever the adventure, Zip was ready, wheels spinning and heart full of courage. And so, in the little house by the creek, the toy car that learned to float became a legend. A reminder that even the smallest, most unlikely heroes can do amazing things when they believe in themselves and have a friend to cheer them on. Night after night, as Mia drifted off to sleep, Zip would whisper thank you to the moon and stars, grateful for the water that taught him to float, and for the friend who believed he could. For every child who dreams of adventure, for every toy who longs to try something new, Zip's story lives on. A tale of bravery, friendship, and the magic that happens when you dare to take the plunge. And so, the adventure continues, wherever there are hearts willing to dream, wheels ready to spin, and streams waiting to be crossed. Once, on a bright summer morning, Mia woke with a twinkle in her eye. She raced to Zip's shelf, her hair tangled and her pajamas still rumpled from sleep. "Today's the day, Zip," she whispered. "Let's see where the creek takes us." She had a new plan: to follow the creek as far as they could, to see the world beyond their garden. With Zip's floating outfit carefully strapped on, Mia set him in the bubbling water. She followed along the bank, holding the string, her sneakers squishing in the soft mud. Zip bobbed and spun, the current carrying him past rocks and reeds, beneath arched branches where sunlight streamed down in golden patches. As they travelled, Zip saw minnows darting below, water striders skating on the surface, and gentle frogs resting on lily pads. Mia pointed out a family of ducks paddling past, their fluffy ducklings trailing behind. "Look, Zip, maybe you'll make some new friends today." The creek curved around a bend, and suddenly, Zip heard a tiny voice. "Help! Help!" it cried. Floating on a leaf was a little ladybug, her red shell speckled with black dots. The current was too strong for her tiny wings to fly away safely. Zip's heart jumped. He wanted to help, but he had never tried anything like this before. Mia saw the ladybug too, and gently tugged Zip's string closer. Zip paddled with his wheels, edging toward the leaf. "Hold on tight," Mia encouraged. With a careful nudge, Zip pressed his side against the leaf, giving the ladybug a safe place to climb. Mia slowly pulled them both back to the shore. The ladybug fluttered her wings in gratitude. "Thank you, brave car," she said. "You're a real hero." Zip beamed with pride. He hadn't just learned to float, he'd learned he could help others too. The adventure had become even more magical. For the rest of the journey, Zip kept an eye out for anyone else who might need help. He rescued a twig caught in some weeds, nudged a pebble so a tiny crab could scuttle past, and even gave a tired butterfly a lift across the water. Mia cheered him on, her laughter echoing through the trees. At the end of the day, as the sun melted into the horizon, Mia and Zip sat together by the creek, watching fireflies blink in the soft evening light. "Today was the best adventure yet," Mia said, hugging Zip close. "Who knows what tomorrow will bring?" From that day on, Zip was not just the toy car that learned to float. He was also the hero of the creek, a friend to all the little creatures who called the water home. And every night, as Mia drifted off to sleep, Zip dreamed of new adventures, new friends, and the many wonders that awaited just beyond the bend. And so, the story of the toy car that learned to float became a favorite bedtime tale, told and retold wherever children dream of bravery, kindness, and the magic of trying something new. Long after, in the quiet of the shop, Mr. Whimsy would sometimes think of Zip and Mia. He'd smile to himself, remembering the little car with the big heart and the girl who believed in him. And he would set to work creating new toys, each one with a touch of magic, a dash of courage, and the hope that they, too, might someday find their own adventure. Because in the end, every toy and every child has the power to do something amazing, as long as they have a little courage, a caring friend, and a dream to chase. So, if you ever find yourself standing by a stream or staring at a toy car on your shelf, remember Zip's story. Remember that even the most unlikely heroes can float, can help, can dream, and can discover a world full of wonder just waiting to be explored. And as you drift off to sleep, may you dream of adventures, of floating down sparkling streams, of helping those in need, and of discovering the magic that lives inside every brave heart. For in every corner of every town, wherever there are children with imaginations as wide as the sky and toys ready to roll, the story of the toy car that learned to float lives on. A gentle reminder that anything is possible if only you believe. And so the adventure never truly ends. It waits quietly for the next dreamer, the next brave soul, the next Zip who will dare to try something new, to float where others have only driven, to help, to laugh, to explore, and to discover the magic in their own backyard. Good night, little dreamers. And may your adventures be as boundless and brave as Zip's, wherever your dreams may take you.